Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Alicia and today I'm coming at you with two thriller slash mystery novels that I read. I have maybe once before I read one mystery novel, but before that I don't actually really read thrillers or mysteries. It's something that I really want to get into, so I did go ahead and read this past week A Stranger in the House by Shari, Lapena, and The Family Upstairs by Jewell. So let's get started. I want to start by talking about A Stranger in the House by Shari Lapena. I do want to preface this by stating that I am not an avid reader of thriller, mystery, or horror novels. I'm starting to dip my feet into them, and I'll just start off by giving off the rating. So I give this book a 2 out of 5, and I just found it to be very problematic. Let's start off with the good things and what I really liked about it. As one of the first books that I read in the thriller mystery genre, I thought it was really nicely paced. I was genuinely interested in what happened up until the end. I just wanted to keep reading it and find out what happened, solve everything, and throughout some parts of it, it did give me chills. So I was reading this alone at home and I started to freak out because I heard like noises here and there. It turns out it's my cat, but it did freak me out. So because of that, I did want to give it a 3 out of 5, but I just couldn't. This follows our main character, Karen Crump, as she is driving away from something that we don't know, but she is in a very panicked state. She ends up hitting a pole and ends up in the hospital. She forgets everything that happened the day before. Later on, we find out that there is a man who was murdered at a restaurant. We don't know who did it, and police start to investigate. On the same hand, we are following Karen, who's trying to remember exactly what happened. She does start to remember and notice that things inside of her house have been moved, and she doesn't remember, for example, putting a glass cup somewhere on the kitchen counter, or she comes in the next day and her panty drawer has been shuffled around, or she notices someone that was laying on her bed and you can see the imprint of the body. So really creepy story, really engaging. I actually genuinely liked the story. What I found problematic were the characters. I had no investment in the characters whatsoever. I just couldn't attach myself to them. Let's begin with her husband. I believe his name is Tom. I think his name is Tom. I didn't like him. And this is where some spoilers might start to come in. So if you don't want any spoilers, maybe pause here. But I'll try to make it as spoiler-free as possible. So we have Tom, who not only cheated on his wife, but the entire time when she goes missing, he's more worried about himself. He is annoyed that she's not home and there for dinner. He's been waiting to come home to his like lovely wife, but she's not home. Then when he finds out that this is going on and she's getting arrested, he's mad at her. He's annoyed at her because he's about to get fired and he cares about what people think. And even though he has spent 2 years with her and he talks about this like lovely and healthy relationship, he doesn't sit down with her and try to like ascertain what happened. Once she tries to be honest with him, he just blames her and doesn't believe her. And from the beginning, he's not upfront and honest to her, but expects a level of honesty from her that he doesn't give. So double standards. Then, don't get me started on the way that women are portrayed. You have her best friend and her neighbor. I forgot her name now. Bridget? I don't know what her name is. Bridget. She is portrayed as this like crazy middle class woman who has nothing to do. She does have a sad story. She can't have babies basically, but they act as if having babies is like the one sole purpose of a woman's life, and without it we're basically vacant, void, and we go crazy and we have nothing to do but stalk our neighbors. And both of these women are in love with Tom, who has no redeeming qualities. I don't understand what's so interesting about him. I don't understand. I don't get the hype. I don't know why these two women are like vying for his attention. I don't know why Bridget is so obsessed with him. I just found it to be a very problematic book, and because of that, I had to give it a 2 out of 5. Again, I genuinely enjoyed the plot. I just could not get through the characters. Yeah, sorry guys. But again, I enjoyed the plot. So if you do have thriller recommendations that are not problematic, or do not have problematic characters, please let me know down below. The next book that I read is The Family Upstairs by Jewell. I did go ahead and give this book a 3 out of 5, although I am rethinking this. This was the first thriller that I actually read. I read it before A Stranger in the House. Now that I read this one, I want to give this one a higher rating. I just don't have like a foundation for how good thrillers can be and are not. But the more I think about it, the more this is closer to a 4 out of 5 for me. The Family Upstairs is a classic, I believe, like whodunit story. So we follow Libby Jones. We know that she was adopted by a family. When she turns 25, she inherits her family home. It's a mansion that is located on the Thames in London. Super fancy. Apparently it's worth like millions of dollars now. So she inherits this when she's 25, and she goes into the house and she realizes that someone was upstairs in the abandoned house. From this, we follow 2 alternating timelines. One of them follows her family before, like her original family in that house when they were living. And then the third timeline follows a stranger. We don't know who she is. We just know that she has 2 children and she lives in France. And ultimately, these 3 narratives intertwine and weave to create the story. Yeah, I genuinely enjoyed it. I found the pacing at some point in the novel to be a little bit slow, but I was genuinely interested to find out the end. What I found the most interesting is the narration of one of the characters in here, who is her brother Henry, and he's the second timeline or narrative that we follow. He is such an unreliable narrator, but I love it. You kind of get to, he's like the only person that you really get into the mind of. Yeah, I actually genuinely enjoyed it, so I think I'm going to go into my Goodreads and update the status of a 4 out of 5. I would say to pick this up if you are really into like dark, kind of creepy stories. This book is dark. I do want to give trigger warnings for violence, sexual violence, animal cruelty, cult behavior. Is that a trigger warning? But like, yeah, cults. But if you like cults, this is for you. If you like dark stories, this is for you. Some really messed up things happen in here, but thank you so much for stopping by today. If you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe, and please let me know what is the best thriller, mystery, horror book that you've read so far in 2020. I am so excited to keep reading more thrillers and more mysteries. Thank you for coming by. Bye!